2026's first major blockbuster, Project Hail Mary, is here, and the fact that this movie has that title makes perfect sense considering this movie's circumstances. This movie is such a risk. A big budget space movie based on a hard science fiction novel with a quirky premise, this movie feels like a massive gamble. A risk that would almost certainly fail, and yet somehow, against all the odds, is succeeding. This movie is universally beloved by almost everyone, and it's projected to make tons of money at the box office. And just like everyone else, I also love this movie. Project Hail Mary is an instant classic. Let me explain. Hi all, I'm the Grinning Critic and I love talking about movies with a grin. And it makes me very happy that today I can talk about Project Hail Mary with a massive grin on my face, as I just thought this movie was wonderful. First off, I want to talk about Ryan Gosling. Gosling is one of my favourite actors working today. And a major reason as to why is the fact that he's an incredibly versatile performer. He's able to play the quiet, stoic male lead, as well as the loud comedic actor, both excellently. And here, he very much combines these two personas into one character, giving what I think is his best performance since La La Land. He can be funny, he can be thoughtful, he can be stoic. He should be in awards contention, that's how great of a performance this is. Because without him, this movie really would not work the way it does. He really carries this movie because for a lot of it, he's the only human. And I think this is also a testament to how wonderful Drew Goddard's script was. Now, Project Hail Mary was based on a book written by Andy Weir, who also wrote the book The Martian, which Drew Goddard also adapted for the screen. And not knocking against The Martian, I kinda love that movie. But my main issue with that film is that it became too much science in the way of fiction. So I think it failed to convey the emotional weight in the way that it should have, given the story it was about a guy being stranded on Mars, unable to get home. It felt like there that Goddard was just adapting straight from the source material. And in a book, you can get away with that level of detail because it's a book, so the reader needs to have a clearer picture of what's happening on the screen. Whereas in a movie, they can just see it very quickly and you don't need to spend time audibly explaining things. And it's clear that when writing the screenplay for this movie, Goddard listened to this criticism and was prepared to cut some of the science detail from the book, which works much to the movie's benefit. From an emotional standpoint, I know we're only in March, but I will be shocked if there is another movie that comes out this year that takes me on such a big emotional roller coaster in the way that Project Hail Mary did. I laughed so many times throughout this movie as it has a very effective comedic tone. I also cried multiple times throughout this movie, and a major reason as to why this change in emotional tonality works so well in this movie was because of the directing duo behind this movie, Phil Lord and Chris Miller. In my opinion, these two guys are directing legends. They take these quirky ideas and pull a unique spin on them to make them mainstream, but still make their movies not just fun blockbusters, but movies with genuine hearts and souls. And here they are working in full force. I had my reservations about them directing this movie, as they always seem to be the fun guys, but I love how they took a fairly serious story and were able to make it very fun and mainstream and accessible to everyone. Visually, this movie looks stunning. Greg Fraser, alongside Roger Deakins, is the best working cinematographer. What I love about the way he shoots movies is that he shoots them in a way that makes them look as though they're happening in real life, brilliantly utilising colour, shadows and lighting to give them this authentic look. And he brings this sense of realism so well to Project Hail Mary, which was arguably his most challenging task yet, as most of this movie doesn't even take place on Earth. The visual effects in this film are amazing, but what truly wowed me about the visuals in this movie was its commitment to puppetry using practical effects with the character Rocky, the rock-like alien. Rocky was this elaborate puppet who was on set for all these scenes, and yet he looks better than almost any creature I've seen from a major blockbuster movie in the last decade. And because he's a practical effect, that's why he feels like such a real creature. Side note, despite me talking earlier about how Ryan Gosling carries this movie, I don't think this could have been done without Rocky. The two of them just have perfect chemistry with each other, and they play with each other so well. Now, for all this movie's brilliances, I will admit there are a couple of slight flaws that I have with this movie. I can't speak too much about them because they are spoilers. So all I'll say is that when we learn about how Ryan Gosling's character ended up on this space mission, I think that the reasoning behind why he's on this journey is totally fine. It's just that I feel like they went a bit too far with it in my opinion. Like, they could have just had it resolved a scene earlier. I just don't think they needed to go so over the top. And the other issue I have with this is that while I love a lot of ways in this movie was edited, seamlessly transitioning from the past to the present, or having the aspect ratios change to capture memories by having the light leak from the black bars, which was such an insane choice by the way and works so well, the editing within the third act feels off. That's not to say that anything should have been cut. All of it certainly belongs in this movie. It's just the way that this movie's edited, it feels like it was going to end about 6 different times and then it just kept going. So much so that this broke the rhythm of the movie and it made the actual ending less effective than it would have been otherwise. But regardless, I love Project Hail Mary. This is this decade's Interstellar, a thoughtful science fiction film capable of being funny as well as devastating, with perhaps my favourite movie Alien since E.T. Project Hail Mary is an instant classic. I'm gonna give Project Hail Mary an A. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm the Grinning Critic, and don't forget to subscribe to me. It'll keep me grinning, that's for sure.